I know there's a lot of people out there who are still trying to figure out which smart assistant to go with, especially since Apple HomePods have gotten a lot better. I know there's a group out there who are thinking about switching from one to the other, especially Echo users who are getting frustrated with Amazon ads. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you why I think you should just use both of them. They serve different purposes, in my opinion, and neither one of them nails everything. So we'll talk about why I use both devices and the different ways I use them. First, let's talk about why I use both Echoes and HomePods. I started my channel in the middle of 2017, and the Echoes were really starting to take off. It was a time where there was exciting new features always coming out. In early 2018, Apple introduced the full-size HomePod, but it didn't have anywhere near as many features as the Echo. And it had Siri, which was flat out dumb. I mean, even now, Siri's sometimes flat out dumb. The HomePod not only sounded good, HomeKit brought some unique features that the Echoes didn't have and still don't have. In the beginning, with the HomePods lacking a lot of the features of the Echoes, Alexa stayed my primary smart assistant, but I was always using HomePods and taking advantage of their features in the background. It was never a problem to use both. All I had to do was pick smart devices that worked with both. Let's start off with how I use each of these, and we'll throw the whys in there too. Like this first one. A big reason why we're using the Echoes is out of habit. Not necessarily my habit, but my family's habit. They are used to getting information, weather reports, setting timers, and occasionally turning lights on and off. I would be content switching everything over to the HomePods because I really don't use the smart assistant side of things. I want the smart home control. But for my family, Alexa and the Echoes are the only smart assistant to them. They have zero interest in the HomePods. There's a HomePod in every room, there's an Echo, and yet they won't use them. Even though I tell them they'll get their Apple Music and it'll sound better, they still don't use it. They have zero interest. I really can't push for them to switch over because of the stuff they want to use. That's where the Echoes excel. And that leads me into the second reason. The Echoes make better smart assistants. If you want information, if you want to take advantage of third-party skills, games, all of that additional stuff that Alexa brings, you can do that on the Echoes. The HomePods, they don't have that third-party support. Information-wise, it's just, from a smart assistant standpoint, I just don't think the Echoes are there. Its strength lies in smart home control. So for me, separate the two. I don't need them combined into one. I look at smart assistants like I do apps. YouTube is great for watching content. But if I want to take care of some office work, I'm going to head over to Microsoft Office. I say take advantage of each. Like this next use, my primary smart home control is with the HomePods and Apple Home. There are just better options there that I can't get over here on the Echoes. Like one feature I've been using for years is having any device control any other device. Like for example, I have a switch in my kitchen that when I turn that switch on, it turns another switch on across the room. So switch A turns on switch B. So simple. But you can't do that on Echoes. When it comes to the Apple Home app, it is a smart home app. And the features are very easy to use. You have more automation options. Now, this is something for people to think about. I don't care about most of the options that you have under routines. I don't want my assistant talking to me first thing in the morning. I don't want my kids, my wife, no one talking to me if I had my way. So I'm never going to program a routine that talks to me in the morning on my Echoes. So that leaves me with the smart home control and the custom choice. The smart home options are less than on the HomePod, and the HomePod's very intuitive. I really wish smart home fans who have iPhones would check out a HomePod mini. I know a lot of smart home folks get blinded by the price of the HomePods and HomeKit devices. It really used to be expensive to buy compatible devices, but that's not the case anymore. There's brands like Aqara, who is not sponsoring this video, but they make affordable devices that work with Apple Home and Echoes. So if you go with devices like that, you can take advantage of both. Now with some devices, they're not going to work with Apple Home, and I really don't want to use some third-party option to make it work. It's just easier to take advantage of the Echos and not mess with it. I've been using Ring devices for years before they were ever bought by Amazon, so I was used to using the app. I'm good using the app, but since I have some Echo shows around, I can see my Ring cameras pop up. I think Ring Alarm and Ring cameras are the strongest security option out there if you're looking for professional monitoring, but they're not going to work with the HomePods. So I have my Echos here so I can take advantage of the integration for automations and routines. If I'm going to keep using Ring Alarm and my Ring Video Doorbell, it just makes sense to have the Echos to be used as doorbell chimes. Now, just so you guys know where I stand, I like Ring Alarm, I like the Ring Video Doorbell and the Ring Stick-Up Cams. They've all performed well. But no, I will never put a Ring camera inside my house. I don't trust Ring cameras inside the house based on their past. But for what I need them for to protect my house, they can point out, drop in, check out footage, do whatever the nonsense Ring does at times. I just want a system that will work. Another time I take advantage of routines is with my Ring Alarm and my Ring Stick-Up cameras. If motion's detected on my Ring cameras, it'll trigger a routine through the Echos. I can take advantage of the Ring Alarm options to trigger stuff that I'm not going to be able to do on this. Now, when it comes to smart devices, I try to automate everything. I don't want to talk to any of these devices. I want to have sensors turn things on for me, have things automatically turn off, or have smart buttons that have multiple actions so I can leave a room and trigger a scene to change the state of lighting. To me, you're not really taking advantage of your smart home with either of these devices if you're having to call up everything with voice. Now, a big reason I use the HomePods is for the media side of things. I was listening to music before I started this video, and I was using my HomePods. They sound great. They sound better than the Echos. The only Echo that's close to the HomePods is the Echo Studio, and that's $199. The full-size HomePods are great to pair up with an Apple TV to use as a speaker. In my office, for years, I had one HomePod, and it just had a nice full sound to it. In my family room, we have a pair of the original full-size HomePods that we've been using for years as speakers. It fills the room nicely, and you have that spatial audio, which is going to give you a virtual surround sound. So even when HomePods were not doing much in the way of the smart home stuff and Siri doing things, they were getting used daily as speakers. So that $299 HomePod that I have paired up with my Apple TV is getting used far more than the $249 Echo Show 15 that just sits there. Now, big reason that I continue to use the Echos is what I touched on earlier with the automation and routines. It is compatibility. More things are compatible with the Echos. It just has a bigger, more open ecosystem. Here on the HomePods, you can't use as many music services. You don't have native Spotify support, where here on the Echos, you do. There's also the integration with Android users that you're not going to get from the HomePods, which is kind of silly to me. I feel like they need to figure out a way to be able to use HomePods with Android and PC users. Another big reason I use HomePods beyond the sound is the Apple integration that I'm not going to get on Echos. I love that the request I make or the notes I take or calendar events I create all go to my native Apple apps. I have my reminder list so I can just call out and add something to my shopping list. Where with the Echos, like there's compatible apps like Todoist for your to-do list. And there are other options and workarounds. I want that Apple integration because it opens up so much more. Like I can have my messages read out to me when someone sends a message and I can reply back using the HomePods. I can do that within the Alexa app in the Echo ecosystem, but it doesn't tie into my phone. Another reason I've stuck with Echoes is the smart display. It's been nice having the smart display in a room as a clock, as a place for information, to set timers, to control devices, and even watch media. Unfortunately, though, Amazon has been adding more cards, information cards on the Echo shows. They're adding more sponsored content and just flat out ads. So I'm starting to find myself looking past my Echo shows more, and they're kind of just big clocks a lot of times. For Apple Home users, that is a big thing that's missing. I know there's a lot of folks out there that would love to see an Apple Smart Display. If you would, let us know in the comments. But that I think would be done really well and would add some more competition to hopefully raise the bar for Google and Amazon. I have a feeling that once Apple comes out with the smart display, there's going to be a lot of people that switch over. Compared to Google and Amazon, I expect Apple's smart display to be faster, a better interface, probably sound better. If not, it'll have more Apple integration than any of the other ones. Unfortunately, the latest smart display rumors is nothing until 2025. Come on, Apple, create a speaker, dock, throw an iPad in. If I were starting a smart home today and had to pick either Echoes or HomePods, knowing what I know now, I would go with the HomePods. And a big reason why is it fits more of what I want to use it for. A lot of the assistant stuff of Echoes I don't really need, since this has become stronger as a smart home controller and it's better for me on the media side of things. Plus, there's no ads. I mean, you even have ads in the Alexa app. That's a little bitty ad. Another reason I would go with HomePods, other than being just a big Apple fan, is that I don't like the direction that Amazon's going. I feel like it's been more about cutting staff and numbers and trying to recuperate money that they spent years ago. Timers and alarms apparently don't generate a lot of ad revenue. And we're seeing more ads, more featured content, more suggestions from Alexa, and overall, not as good of an experience as it was a few years back. We're also seeing features that were free for years going behind a paywall, and according to rumors, when Alexa AI comes out, that's gonna cost you more money. I'm sorry, I don't want to pay any more for a smarter Alexa. And a lot of the reason why is Alexa's overstayed her welcome with all the suggestions and by the ways. It's become annoying. Now, on the flip side, when Siri gets smarter, I don't think it's going to get thrown behind a paywall. And not having any screens, there's no place to show ads. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of great reasons that I miss for picking an Echo over the HomePod. So please let me know in the comments why you picked whatever device you did go with. Now, if you made it this far, please consider subscribing and click the bell so you can check out our next video. Speaking of next videos, if you're on Team Apple, you should check this out for 10 everyday uses for the HomePod. If you're Team Echo, you should check out this one up here for 10 everyday uses for your Echoes. I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching. Bye.